Hello! Today's stories come from r/EntitledPeople. I've got 3 stories. First up, Karen in a hospital. This happened about 10 years ago, back when I worked at my local hospital. I was one of the reception staff in a busy outpatients clinic. Just for some context, I live in the UK. A woman, henceforth called Karen, had just had a scan. I think it was either a CT or MRI. And she came in to book an appointment with her doctor for the results. The scan department had told her to book an appointment for about 2 weeks' time. I looked up the clinic and offered her an appointment. She couldn't make it for some reason. I offered her another appointment. Again, it was not convenient. I offered her a third date. Also, no good. I offered her appointments and she kept saying she was busy on that day. A holiday, something at her kid's school, an appointment in another hospital. Her cat was getting spayed. She would only see a consultant, not a registrar. Her car was getting waxed. Her gerbil was getting married. Okay, that last one's an exaggeration, but she had a reason to reject every single appointment. By the time we reached an appointment she could make, it was nearly 18 weeks away. She accepted the appointment and went on her merry way. Not 15 minutes later, an email comes through from the hospital's complaints department. The email was sent to me, my manager, the manager of the outpatient clinic, and a name I didn't recognize. It turned out that as soon as Karen left the clinic, she went straight to the complaints department and complained that I had given her a clinic appointment in 18 weeks' time when she had specifically been told she needed an appointment in 2 weeks' time. She had said that this was the one and only appointment I had offered her and had told her to take it or leave it. She insisted on being given an earlier appointment than the one she had been given. The complaints department basically demanded an explanation from me of why I had booked Karen's appointment so far off. I was like, what the F? So I figured that since complaints wanted an explanation, that I'd give them one. I listed every single clinic appointment Karen had rejected and for what reason. There was a tally of the 18 earlier appointments she had declined. I pointed out to complaints that if Karen were able to clear her busy schedule on one of those days, perhaps spaying her cat could be rescheduled, then I would be more than happy to book her a clinic appointment in 2 weeks' time, like I had tried not half an hour earlier. Not a very exciting story, but beware the Karen in the wild. They can be found anywhere. Karen is either delusional or lying. She denied several appointments, but somehow forgot and claimed she was only offered the one. She probably thought OP's offer of several options was somehow rude, as Karens do. That, or she's imagining things. Clearly, her health is not that much of a concern if she's okay prioritizing her cat and the rest of her life. Perhaps that's why she's at the hospital in the first place. Second story is, you need to give me that toy because I asked for it. Hi gang. Today I was left somewhat speechless when experiencing the sheer audacity and utter rudeness of some random kid. But I got some nice petty revenge in, even though this left me somewhat puzzled. So, the backstory. Sometimes certain supermarkets in the Netherlands give out small plastic freebies when you've spent an X amount of cash on your groceries. Me, being my cynic self, basically describes this as handing out plastic junk to lure children to the supermarket, which often happens. During such periods, children are often standing near the exit asking shoppers if they can have a free thingamajig. Although I don't fancy interacting with children, this is something I have zero problems with. Also because most of them are usually quite polite about the whole thing. And kids will be kids. But as it turns out, there are some weird examples out there as well, and this is the first time I experienced something kind of bizarre. I was doing some shopping for a family member, also because of vid and everything, and once I had everything that was needed, I head to the registers and stand in line. Nothing special there. Eventually, I can put my stuff on the band, place the divider behind my things, and that's when I notice a kid behind me, but I give it no further thought. I figured he was either going to buy some candy, this is usually found near the registers, or perhaps his parents had to grab something real quick. Not my concern. I greet the cashier, they scan my items, and I place them back in my cart, and then it's time to pay. I grab my phone, make the payment, and then the cashier asks me, "Would you like a gizmo or receipt?" And before I can say anything, the kid behind me says, "We want the gizmo, please." And I'm like, what? So the next moment, the cashier asks me if I really want the gizmo, and his expression tells me all I needed to know. He looks annoyed, which makes me convinced that this kid has tried this before. Okay, two can play that game. Well, I guess so, I say to the cashier and give him a quick wink. And I'd like my receipt, please. So the cashier hands me 3 plastic gizmos, I can't be bothered to look up the real names, and gives me my receipt, after which the kid behind me suddenly says, "Hey, you need to give that to me." I put the stuff in my pocket, look around, and ask him why I would do that. "Well, I asked for them, so you should give them to me," the kid tells me again. "Yeah, think not. Who do you think paid for these groceries, you?" I tell him and walk off. So I make my way to a packing table and start putting my groceries in my bag while this kid still keeps whining about how I need to give him his gizmos. I swipe my earbud to turn him back on and tell him, "Sorry, can't hear you anymore." Culture beat. Time to up the volume a bit. When I'm done, I walk towards the exit, completely ignoring the little brat, and I notice 3 other kids standing there, assumingly asking shoppers politely for gizmos. Assumingly, but at least they have the decency to wait outdoors. Now, I don't enjoy interacting with kids, but sometimes you need to make exceptions to your own rules, even if this means stopping culture beat. So I turn off my earbuds again. Pretty awesome feature. It actually turns on the microphone so you can fully hear what's happening around you. And for sure. "Sir, do you have any gizmos?" the first kid asks me. "I do. I actually have one for all of you," I say, to which the second kid tells me that no, they're actually taking turns, so the kid in front should get everything. Well, that's when I knew I'm doing the right thing here. So I tell them that I actually got 3 gizmos and I think they should all have one. I ask the kid in front if he agrees, and he tells me that he doesn't mind because he thinks that's totally fair. So I give all 3 kids a gizmo. They thank me and turn out very happy because I apparently gave them a rare one, which neither of them had yet. They actually thank me a second time, and the 3 immediately decide that they should head home to store their gizmos because they don't want to risk losing them now that they have this one too. I put my cart away, wave him goodbye, and I leave one very sad-looking brat behind. I wonder if he learned a lesson here, but something tells me he probably didn't. Still, while I do think he was a total brat, I still can't help wonder what kind of poor excuses for a parent he has to endure. So many fun things going on here. I am such a sucker for collectibles and love that OP, in spite of his allergy to children, takes the time to give the polite kids a rare. The little brat that was leeching off people at the till had probably been doing it all day given the reaction of the cashier. And no doubt he continued on. Definitely a Ken in the making. My final story is a doozy. Entitled mother refuses to wear a mask, then lets her son poop in the middle of a grocery store, gets arrested. Posting on behalf of my friend, she has many more of these. The cast is EM, you know who this is, entitled mom, EC, obviously entitled child, B is my friend, M is the manager, and C numbers 1 through 3 are the cops. So we'll call this store chain Bravago, and B has been working there for the past 4 years. This happened in early 2020, so the panda bear was in full swing with mask mandates, etc. She's working the self-checkout area right by the doors and notices a woman enter with her screaming child, henceforth known as Entitled Mom and Entitled Child. Entitled Mom looks to be in her 40s, and her kid is wearing a school name class of 2020 sweater, so he was around 11 or 12. Right off the bat, Entitled Mom looks pissed, probably from her goblin child screaming blue murder about how he wants McDonald's and waltzes in without a mask. B notices and heads over to nicely ask her to put one on. I'm going to paraphrase this. "Welcome to Bravago. Do you need a mask?" "What? No. I just need a few things." She tries to shove her way past B and into the store. B, placing herself between Entitled Mom and the rest of the store, "Quick trip, eh? Yeah, I get that, but as per Bravago policy, all staff and customers over the age of 10 need to be wearing masks in the store." "Well, I don't have one." B, pointing to a stand with hand sanitizer and masks by the door, "Well, right over there we have some in case people forget. You can get one for you and your son." "Mom, I don't want to wear a mask." "Hush, sweetie, you don't have to." To B, "My son is 8. He doesn't need one. And besides, I don't need one either. I just need to grab a few things. I'll be out in a few minutes anyway." "Hey, I'm not 8. Entitled Mom glares at her kid to shut up, and he keeps whining about how he doesn't want to wear a mask. I understand, ma'am, but it's store policy, and if you won't wear a mask, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask you to shop elsewhere. The door signs clearly state you must wear a mask to shop with us. Entitled Mom starts raising her voice. But I just need a few things. It's not like I'm going all over the store. I want to speak with your manager. B, into her walkie-talkie. Hey, Em, I've got a woman at the doors who wants to talk to you. Be right there. Is it about masks again? Yep. Keep her at the doors, please. Can do. Turning to speak to Entitled Mom. Please wait right here, and manager will be right over. Better not keep me waiting. I have a family to feed. Manager soon shows up and takes over. Good afternoon. How can I help you today? This child, B was 20, won't let me in. How am I supposed to feed my family if I can't even enter the store? Well, ma'am, you're welcome to do your shopping here if you put on a mask. Noticing the class of 2020 shirt on the kid. And your son needs one as well, seeing as he's over 10. He's 8. No, I'm not, Mom. Stop saying that. Be quiet. Mommy's handling this. Don't yell at me. He's stomping his foot and screaming in her face. Don't you take that tone with me. Let me deal with these idiots. Then Mommy will get you McDonald's after. The kid shuts up real quick. To M, smirking. I can't wear a mask, and neither can my son. We have asthma and won't be able to breathe. I'm very sorry to hear that, but I'm afraid the rule goes for everyone. No entry without a mask. Entitled Mom effing explodes. I swear to God we'll suffocate with masks on. Are you trying to kill my child? I'm going to sue you if you don't let me in right now. Please don't raise your voice at me. I'm speaking to you like an adult. I expect the same in return. If you don't want to wear a mask, then you can shop somewhere else. I hear that Small Mart is allowing customers to shop without masks if you'd rather go there. I'll speak however I want. You're infringing my rights as a Canadian citizen to breathe freely. I don't want to go to Small Mart. I'm already here. Just let me do my effing shopping. Entitled Mom is panting like she just ran a marathon, and her crotch root pulls her down to whisper something in her ear. Entitled Mom smiles like the Grinch after stealing Christmas and nods at her gremlin. He takes off into the store at a run, and they lose sight of him in the aisles. Manager sends B after the kid while he calls for Bravgo security. B is now searching up and down every aisle in the store and finally finds the kid in the frozen food section, all the way at the other end of the store. He's got his pants around his ankles and is squatting in the middle of the aisle, dropping a massive steaming pile on the floor. He sees B and grins at her. B gets on the walkie and calls manager over, telling him what's going on. At this point, Entitled Mom has reluctantly put on a mask and storms over with manager just as Entitled Child drops the last nugget on his steaming pile. He pulls his pants back up and trots over to his mom. There we go, we found him. Now I can shop in peace. Absolutely not. You or your son need to clean that up immediately. Hell no. Get her to do it. Pointing at B. It's her job. No, it's not. Either you clean that up right now or I'm calling the police. Fine. Go get me some paper towels. Manager to B. Can you go grab the cleaning cart by the cash? Yeah, no problem. B gets the cart and Entitled Mom starts picking up the poop. I hope you understand once that's cleaned up, you'll need to leave. You and your son are banned for life. What? After this awful display from both of you, you're not welcome to return. That's not fair. I've been a loyal customer here for years. You can't do this. And she flings the fistful of poop she's got at his head. He managed to dodge it, and it splattered on the freezer door behind him, running down the glass, smearing a stinky brown path towards the ground. Manager gets on the walkie-talkie and asks for someone to lock the doors and call the cops while Entitled Mom and Entitled Child make a beeline for the exit. Boy, was she pissed when she realized she was locked in. She's screaming at everyone. Her kid is complaining about the poop still stuck to his behind, and everyone else is staying the F away from the crazy lady with poop on her hands, screaming about lawsuits and how she'll have all the employees fired. I'm truly sad I wasn't there to see this poop show, unfold in person. But B managed to show me the CCTV footage a few days later. The cops show up not too long after, in masks and gloves. The station was just down the street from the Blovigo, and M uses a side exit to go out and explain the situation. 3 cops enter and head over to where entitled mom is still screaming like a banshee, sniveling, hellspawn in tow. "Ma'am, you're going to need to come with us." "Like hell I am. He's the one you should be arresting," pointing a poopy finger at manager. "He made me clean up some random kid's poop." "Ma'am, you need to calm down and come outside with us, or we'll be forced to detain you. You can come peacefully or in handcuffs. It's your call." Entitled mom rushes the officers, probably to start hitting them or something. Cops 1 and 3 grab her and pin her on the floor, with cop number 2 cuffing her while reciting her rights. Entitled child is scream crying now, telling the cops to leave his mom alone and trying to pull them off her. Cop number 1 turns around and grabs the entitled child in a bear hug, lifting him off the ground as he's kicking and screaming to be let go, and carries him out to the squad cars in front of the store, all while entitled mom is screaming about child abuse and unlawful detainment and, "You'd better get your hands off my child right now, or I'll sue you all to high heaven." Entitled child is packed into the back of one car, entitled mom in the other, and cop number 1 comes back to finish up with manager and B, taking their statements and getting a copy of the CCTV footage. Entitled mom was charged with disturbing the peace, aggravated assault for the poo flinging, resisting arrest, and trespassing. She never came back to that store and was banned from all Bravigo locations for life along with her son. Manager ended up cleaning the poo, not wanting to make his employees do it. Edit. This happened in Montreal and was all in French. I've done my best to translate it. Oh my goodness, this story is so gross. Karen is a real piece of work raising her child to believe that this type of behavior is even remotely acceptable. Unfortunately, it's probably overly optimistic to assume that the interaction with law enforcement here will make entitled mom or entitled child think twice about acting this way in future. I think the real unsung hero in this story is the manager. He didn't cave to Karen's whims, and he cleaned up the poop so his staff didn't have to. Gold star for him or her. If you've enjoyed the story and would like to hear more, consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment. Thanks, and bye for now.